Retail Management, Masters of Commerce, 4th semester, Mangalore University, Session 17. Strategic Retail Planning. In this session, you are going to learn about the location and retail strategy. Learning objective to understand about the location and retail strategy. Session outcome to enlighten the students to evaluate and select a specific site. Retailing strategy and location. A retailer should first begin with a mission statement. This helps the retailer, its employees, and its customers understand the purpose of the business. The core concepts and culture that come from a mission statement flow from the choice of the strategies selected in an attempt to achieve a competitive advantage. Location may be the primary strategy selected, or it may be merchandise, pride, service, or communication. Whatever strategy is emphasized, location is a critical variable. Owners or managers who wish to emphasize merchandise quality will require an entirely different location than managers of a low margin discount house. Just as the strategy and objectives of a retailer are integral to the location decision process, so is the importance of market research. The use of marketing research criteria in deciding on a location depends on what type of information or answer is needed from the research time and cost factors and the importance of the decision in the overall strategy. The characteristics used in the location analysis. The several characteristics used in location analysis, the key ones include the demographics, economic, cultural, demand, competition, and infrastructure. Some of the characteristics will be more helpful in the discussion of the macro areas, that is country and region, as opposed to the micro areas, that is trade area and site evaluation, and vice versa. We introduce each characteristic in the discussion of country and region analysis and then return to each as appropriate in micro areas. Country and region analysis. Many retailers have found success establishing locations in other countries. Because of the high market saturation in the United States, many US retailers ranging from Toys R Us and McDonald's to JCPenney have expanded overseas in an effort to improve their bottom line. On the other hand, there are many important market characteristics in the US that have attracted overseas retailers like Laura Ashley, Benetton, and The Body Shop. There is a need to recognize that country analysis will be an increasingly important aspect of the location strategy as merchants look for growth opportunities. After the decision is made as to what country or countries are to be considered, a regional analysis will need to be done. Most countries are not completely homogeneous and need to be broken down into regions in order for a retailer to better understand the market characteristics. For example, the United States normally divided into the following regions: Pacific, Mountain, West, North, West North Central, East North Central, West South Central, East South Central, South Atlantic, Middle Atlantic, and New England. Regions may differ in many characteristics such as population, demographics and density, climate, cultures, and distribution of infrastructure. The importance of examining countries and regions by their macro characteristics can be illustrated by the importance of today's distribution infrastructure to the concept of flow-through replenishment. This concept is based on having information on consumer demand that allows the flow of goods to be regulated by actual needs in the retail stores. Consumer demand is acquired at the point of sale terminal when the UPC barcode is scanned for each product sold. Computers maintain continuous records of product flow. Daily or weekly reorders go directly to manufacturers so that exact quantity replacement can be shipped to each individual store or routed to the retailer's central distribution center. If this is a part of the firm's competitive advantage, the country or region must have the transportation computer and warehousing infrastructure necessary to support the strategy. Demographics. Demography is the study of population characteristics that are used to describe consumers. Retailers can obtain information about the consumer's age, gender, income, education, family characteristics, occupation, and many other items. These demographic variables may be used to select market segments which become the target markets for the retailer. Demographics aid retailers in identifying and targeting potential customers in certain geographic locations. Retailers are able to track many consumer trends by analyzing changes in demographics. Demographics provide retailers with information to help locate and describe customers. Linking demographics to behavior and lifestyle characteristics help the retailers find out exactly who their customers are. Retailers who target certain specific demographic characteristics should make sure that those characteristics exist in enough abundance to justify locations in new countries or regions. Economic. Businesses operate in an economic environment and base many decisions on economic analysis. Economic factors such as a country's gross domestic product, current interest rate, employment rates, and general economic conditions affect how retailers in general perform financially. For example, employment rates can affect the quantity and quality of the labor pool available for retailers as well as influence the ability of customers to buy. Normally, growth in a country's GDP indicates growth in retail sales and disposable income. Retailers want to locate in countries or regions that have steadily growing gross national products. As interest rates rise, the cost of carrying inventory on credit rises for retailers and the cost of purchasing durable goods rises for consumers. Countries that have projected significant increase in interest rate should be evaluated very carefully by retailers. Retailers will also be affected by a rise in employment rates. This lowers the supply of available workers to staff and support retail locations. Let's consider the example of China. The country has a billion people, a low but growing per capita income, and major urban areas, even though the country is largely rural. Consumers are used to purchasing food products on an almost daily basis. They pay close attention to prices and often prefer to haggle. Japan's supermarket chain Yohan sees increasing economic well-being as a signal for opportunities in China. A Wall Street Journal article tells how this Japanese firm is attacking the market. Yohan's joint venture supermarket, a 7,000 square foot store wedged into the ground floor of an apartment complex in a working class district, sells most locally produced fresh and packaged goods at prices that match or beat those at local stores. The company plans to open 1,000 stores by the year 2010. Cultural. Cultural characteristics impact how consumers shop and what goods they purchase. The values, standards, and language that a person is exposed to while growing up are indicators of future consumption behavior. Consumers want to feel comfortable in the environment in which they shop. To accomplish this, retailers must understand the culture and language of their customers. In a bilingual area, a retailer may need to hire employees who are capable of speaking both of the languages spoken by the customers. Some retailers have found it useful to market to the cultural heritage of their consumers, while other retailers seek to market cross-culturally. Normally, larger cultures are made of many distinct subcultures. Retailers need to be aware of the different aspects of culture that will affect the location decision. For example, greeting cards sold in the US normally have verses on the inside, while greeting cards sold in Europe normally do not. Demand. The demand for a retailer's goods and services will influence where the retailer will locate its stores. Not only consumers want to purchase the goods, but they must have the ability or money to do as well. Demand characteristics are a function of the population and the buying power of the population that the retailer is targeting. Population and income statistics are available for most countries and regions with developed economics. In developing countries, the income data may be little more than an informed guess. These statistics allow the comparisons of population and a basic determination of who will be able to purchase the goods carried in the store. This is of utmost importance for the retailers whether they carry higher priced goods such as durables, furniture, jewelry, and electronics, or lower priced goods such as basic apparel or toys. Competition. Levels of competitions vary by nation and region. In some areas, retailers will face much stiffer competition than in other areas. Normally, the more industrialized a nation is, the higher the level of competition that exists between its borders. One of the environmental influences on the success or failure of a retail establishment is how the retailer is able to handle the competitive advantages of its competition. A retailer must be knowledgeable concerning both direct and indirect competitors in the marketplace, what goods and services they provide, and their image in the mind of the consumer population. Sometimes a retailer may decide to go ahead to head with the competitor when the reasons are not entirely clear. Infrastructure. Infrastructure characteristics deal with the basic framework that allows business to operate. Retailers require some form of channel to deliver the goods and services to their door. Depending on what type of transportation is involved, distribution relies heavily on the existing infrastructure of highways, roads, bridges, riverways, and railways. Legal infrastructure such as laws, regulations, and court rulings, and technical infrastructure such as the level of computerization, communication systems, and electric power availability also influence the store location decisions. Distributions play a key role in the location decision, especially for countries and regions. There is a significant variance in quantity and quality of infrastructure across countries. A retailer whose operation depends on reliable computerization and communications would not need to even consider a country or a region that did not meet those criteria. The need for refrigerated trucks to distribute frozen juice might limit a retailer like Orange Juice in its ability to expand to India. The multi-level small wholesale infrastructure in Japan has been a major hurdle for retailers attempting to enter that market. The legal environment is a part of the overall infrastructure a firm must consider. For example, many countries require non-native businesses to have a native partner before establishing retail locations. The legal requirements a retailer operates under in one country will not be the same for another country or region and may be different from the state to state within the US. Another part of the location analysis at the country or regional level may be the simple fact of whether or not locations are available and can be had at rents are double those in Tokyo and New York. A corner juice stand of 30 square foot pays rent in Hong Kong of 38,000 US dollars each month. Bozing Marketing Limited, a clothing retailer, pays 10 lakh dollars. In conclusion, the demographic, competition, cultural, infrastructure, and economic characteristics are important in analyzing a country or region. Trade area analysis. It is important to define the market area of any potential location. You know that a retail market is any group of individuals who possesses the ability, desire, and willingness to buy retail goods or services. The residents of any neighborhood, city, region, country, or group of countries may constitute a retail market. The retail trade is defined as the geographic area within which the retail customers for a particular kind of a store live or work. The customer profile of a segment of the people within the geographic area that the store decides to serve is a target market. For example, Jackson's restaurants in the US serves the residents and the office workers in the downtown and west side areas of El Paso as well as visitors from across the border in Mexico. Trade area selection considerations. The first is the demographic. We have said that perhaps no variables are more important to the retail manager than the demographic dimensions of a market. Whether the retail trade area is a central city, a growing suburb, or a quite rural area, you must understand the people who live and work there. Once the basic characteristics are identified and a judgment is made as to how far one of the customers would travel for the goods, the total market has been determined. Factors such as current population, potential population, population density, age, income, gender, occupation, race, proportion of home ownership, average home value, and proportion of single versus multi-family dwellings are important considerations. Where consumers live, their commuting patterns, and whether their numbers are increasing or decreasing are but a few of the dynamic characteristics of the trade area population that the retailer must consider. It may be quite helpful to construct maps that display where certain types of customers reside. As you learn, market segmentation is a process of grouping the individuals according to characteristics that help define their needs. Each of these groups of similar individuals is called market segment. No matter how many different segments you may find within any given retail market, you may choose to satisfy only one or just a few of them. Each segment that a retailer attempts to satisfy is a target market. Economic characteristics have a significant impact on country and region selection. The impact on trade area is even greater. The local unemployment rate will affect the local labor pool and the amount of money that consumers have to purchase products. The most important economic characteristics of the retailer are per capita income and employment rates. Subculture. Subculture have more of an impact on market and trade area selection than on country or region selection. One must normally be at the market or trade level in order to accurately gauge the location and characteristics of a subculture. An ethnic subculture creates market segments for goods ranging from food and cosmetics to clothing and entertainment. At the same time, religion, language, and family structure create both opportunities and problems. Next, demand. The economy of an area under consideration for location should provide a general indicator of the long-range retail opportunities present within an area. The number, type, trends, and the stability of industries that might affect the business in the market area need to be considered. Employment rates, total retail sales, segment retail sales, household income, and household expenditures all provide information from which the economic stability of the area can be ascertained. The Buying Power Index (BPI) indicates the relative ability of consumers to make purchases. The BPI for most metropolitan statistical areas (MSAs) is published yearly by Sales and Marketing Management in their survey of buying power. The BPI combines effective buying income weighted 50%, retail sales weighted 30%, and population weighted 20% in a single measure of the purchasing power of consumers. Defining the trade area. Since a market comprises the number of people and their spendable income, estimating where customers will shop is of critical importance to retailers. Scholars have developed many tools for defining the size of the trade area. Rayleigh's law, Huff's model, concentric circles, and the geodemographics. Estimating market potential. Once the retail trade area has been identified and the relative segmenting variables applied, certain quantitative factors must be considered to decide if the area is suitable. These factors include the retail market potential of a retail trade area and the retail sales potential. Retail market potential is the total dollar sale that can be obtained by all stores selling a particular retail product, product line, or group of services within the retail trade area if everything was maximized. Therefore, retail sales potential is a part of retail market potential. A retail sales forecast is a specific estimate of sales volume that a retailer expects because the retailer is new in the area or because of the entry of a new competitor. The sales forecast may be less than the estimate of retail sales potential. There are two major determinants of the market potential for a trade area: the number of potential customers within the area and the amount of money consumers spend for the product or product line in question. For example, a retailer can estimate the market potential by multiplying the number of potential consumers in the trade area by the average amount they spend for the product. Generally, market potential figures are based on yearly estimates. Suppose, for example, that 50,000 potential customers reside in the trade area. If it is known that each potential customer spends approximately $79 per year on gifts, the retail market potential for gift sales in that retail trade area would be $39 lakh. Population statistics are commonly used in arriving at market potential and are expressed on a per capita, a per household, or a per family basis. The other factor is per capita expenditure. A retail trade area may have little relationship to these political boundaries. The merchant may be able to get a more detailed breakdown of population by checking with the local chamber of commerce for any detailed studies, if any have made, the local newspaper for circulation statistics, the local post office for the number of box holders on delivery routes, the local public utility offices for information on the number of residential electric or gas meters, the city planning office, the fire department and police department for information on the number of residents within a specific retail trade area. Regardless of the sources used, however, the merchant will probably find it necessary to adjust population information for a retail trade area by using the data collected in combination with individual judgment about the area. In addition to population information, the retailer must collect the data on the number of dollars being spent by the customers for the product or product line in question. Seventh is estimating sales potential. You learned that the retail sales potential for a firm is the estimated dollar sales that a retailer expects to obtain in a particular retail trade area over a given period. An accurate appraisal of sales is important because it will dictate the amount of inventory that will be purchased, the number of employees that will be needed, the dollars that can be spent for expenses, and the amount of debt capital the business can comfortably afford. To arrive at such a figure, one must consider the competitive strengths in the market, the amount of business that can be drawn from substitute products, management's own expertise to access the competitive strength in the market. The retailer can start with an assessment of the total market potential. If the retailer assumes that the business will obtain at least average amount of sales being realized by the competitive business in the trade area, an estimate of the sales potential can be made. If there are 5 business, each business might be expected to have 1/6 of the business available in the trade area. Although This approach may not seem as sound as that is used in measuring the market potential. It does provide an analysis of competitive strength, and the figure derived is usually conservative. This approach can be useful in particular situations. Suppose, for example, that a new firm was considering entering a 5-store would mean that the sales potential for the new store would be $466,000, that is 28 lakh dollars divided by 6. If the new firm had to do 6 lakh dollars worth of business merely to break even, it would face a situation where profitability would be difficult. Eighth one, the index of retail saturation. The index of retail saturation competition exists when more than one store compete for the same market segment or target market. In some situation, a firm might like to be only one of its type in a given market area. This is particularly the case of specialty or convenience goods. On other occasions, however, good strong competition will enhance the overall business potential of a given area because it will draw the shoppers from a greater distance to compare the prices or stores. This is particularly the case with goods for which people often make shopping comparisons. Maps may be developed to show retail locations of competitors by relative size and merchandise mix. One measure of the competitive structure of the market is the index of retail saturation, which examines the level of competitions and the retail sales in a given geographical area. There are several ways to formulate this measure. The typical IRS is calculated as area sales divided by a measure of competitive saturation. To put it in formula, IRS is equal to total market potential in the market area of the SIC code divided by the total square feet of stores selling goods for SIC code. All retail stores in US are classified by different SIC codes. The first two of the 7 digits define the broad retail group. For example, 53 is the code for automobiles. Outshopping. Outshopping is a critical element of any estimate of sales potential is outshopping. Outshopping occurs when individuals within your retail trade area go outside your area to shop for similar goods or services. This is a serious problem of smaller shopping areas or communities located near metropolitan areas. You must be careful that your market potential and sales potential estimates do not overstate the true marketplace for your community. Outshopping can also occur for specific merchandise. In fact, the presence of outshopping may be an indicator that there is a need for specific good or service assortments within your retail trade area. It is difficult to combat with outshopping phenomenon. The most frequently cited reason for outshopping is the belief that a better assortment of goods and services exists outside the immediate area. The next concern is price. Quite often, smaller communities do not have the level of competitive intensity or the aggregate volume to get prices as low as they are often found in larger metropolitan areas. For example, your author bought an alternator from AutoZone in a town of 30,000 people less than a 1-hour drive from his home and paid $84. The price in the metropolitan city was $64. How would you have felt? The best advice for areas affected by outshopping is to emphasize your merchandise assortment, promote services such as return privileges close to home, and minimize the importance of price. The smaller store cannot compete head to head on price, so do not try. Offer value, it will be the only long-term win-win solution. Next is the infrastructure. We have talked about the infrastructure including roads and highways, distribution warehouses, and communication facilities. And labor pool must be adequate for a country or region. The same is even more true for trade area analysis. The legal infrastructure can can also impact the trade area selected for your store. State and local laws vary concerning advertising, zoning, and sign restrictions for retailers.